Tests. We're locked in. This camera, this camera, this camera, and this camera. Welcome in to the Vikings Athlete Spotlight. I'm your host, the aforementioned Viking. This is our first reactionary video that we're going to be doing on the channel, and no better time to do it than after the thriller that we just witnessed. Guyana Amazon Warriors taking on the Trinbago Knight Riders. These two teams bring the best out of each other every time. You can always count on this game to go down to the very last over. When I envisioned this show, podcast, I don't want to put a title to it exactly. I don't want to box it in. We titled it as the Vikings Athlete Spotlight just because we want to afford ourselves the chance of exploring different options when it comes to the platform that we give these athletes. And the athlete that's going to be getting the spotlight before we kick off our topic later tonight is Sarah Sanmogan. The South American women and men's classic powerlifting championship took place in Argentina, Buenos Aires. The Guyana national team comprised of 3 gentlemen and this young lady. And so far, she's been the only one that took part in any lifting competition thus far. The other gentlemen are going to be taking part this weekend. Keon Evans, and no, I'm just saying 79, by the way. Credit to him and his ability to stay not only relevant, but to compete at the highest level at such an age. But to get back to the woman that's under the spotlight, Sarah Sanmogan, I'm just going to read you off some numbers here. Best squat of 150 kg, a bench of 82.5 kg, with her best deadlift being 160 kg. Her overall total was 392.5 kg, which placed her third. Sofia Cabrero of Peru tallied the same exact number. However, she weighed in a little bit lighter, so she got the nod for the silver medal. So, congratulations again, Sarah. Well deserved. She said in the interview that she's been juggling both school, work, and powerlifting. So, the fact that she was able to compete at such a high level shows the dedication and shows the potential that you really have. So, we encourage you to keep at it, keep going, and we wish you all the best. I think this is the moment in the show where we roll for our sponsors. So, producers, please take it away. What? We don't have any sponsors, so let's fix that for the next episode. I suggest you hop on this train before the line gets too long. All right, let's talk cricket now. So let's set the stage really quick. Game is being played at the Queen's Park Oval. Average scores of the Queen's Park Oval have been about 150, 155, average around there. That's why when the captains were at the toss, they both said that they would like to chase just because of the Jew factor that's involved as well. It makes things a lot tougher. Warriors were sent into bat. Now, immediately what stood out for me was the changing combination again. I think out of all the matches, they've had a different opening pair, and which is completely contrasting to what they had previous year when they won the championship. They had stability at the top. They had Shai Hope and Shai Hope both finishing well over 300 runs for the tournament. And this is not just synonymous with the Cpl title. In all the leagues around the world, continuity and stability at the top of the order are championship teams are what gets teams to the playoffs and through the big games and eventually winning championships. So they've lost that formula, not by choice. Of course, Shai Hope isn't available due to international duties, and they've gotten a replacement, Tim Robinson. Gorbaz has been here. He's performed well. He's been their best batsman thus far, tallying a total of 189 runs thus far in the tournament. And unfortunately, he is also away on national duties. He's expected to rejoin them in the Guyana phase of the Cpl. So looking forward to that. However, there is a void to fill at the top of the order. They decide to go with the pitch hitting option, which I like. I am a fan of that. I think you need to make use of the power play. You have to maximize that period. With only having 2 fielders outside, it's a pivotal point in the game. You try to maximize your scoring options, and you get your team off to a flying start, and you're not behind the 8 ball to get things moving. The only one that was able to get a significant score in the top order was Tim Robinson. I don't want to be overcritical of Tim Robinson. He's a young player, 22 years of age. We haven't seen enough of him in the Cpl for me to be strongly opinionated on him. But we're hoping that as things progress, as he gets deeper into the tournament, he's able to put those scores together and convert those starts into bigger scores. Shai Hope has been struggling with the role of captaincy and to perform as a batsman as well. It takes a special person to be able to perform at the highest level in terms of what you're asked to do, and then also be that outstanding leader. It's why there's so far and few in between. When you're coming in this early, when this much is expected of you, I understand There's a lot on your shoulders, but you need to be able to compartmentalize as a batsman, as a captain. And it's something that I've seen Shai Hope struggle with over the years. And immediately, the time he was given the role as captain, the responsibility, he shifted gears completely. He went back to 2018 strike rate and the conservative approach. When the thing that's gotten Shai Hope into the T20 World Cup side, the thing that's gotten him back into T20 sides around the world, just and credit to him, he's done well to be able to bounce back and have a career like this, a career-changing route. His fearless approach, it's been that. He has taken it to bowlers from ball one. When you come in and you are thinking the responsibility is on me to see this through, and you're starting to think as a captain rather than the type of batsman that's gotten you here to this point, you're compromising your team. Not only compromising your team, you're compromising to yourself. You're not staying true to who you are. And as a captain, if you're not staying true to who you are, then how do you expect your guys to fall in line? But maybe I'm being overcritical of Shai Hope, and it's only been 2 games, but that's what I've seen, especially your change in intent. Maybe it's something that needs to be looked into. He's a great player. He's an incredibly humble man. He's a well-spoken man, and he's done exceptional things in his career. I want to see him continue to progress as a player, as a leader, and I think that's something that right now is still a weakness in his game. So Shai Hope goes back, and they sort of dwindled around a little bit in the power play. They managed to get up to a respectable total only thanks to Romario Shepherd. Romario Shepherd, oh my. I perk up every time I talk about Romario Shepherd because I think even though he's so well known, he is so underappreciated still. The things that he's able to do with the limited opportunity he has provided at the dead overs is simply remarkable and phenomenal. His strike rates, here's these numbers. His strike rates against pace bowlers in the back end is 289 in 2023 and 2024. Now, people have said he's fallen off in 2024. 289 is remarkable. Now, we know, of course, it's primarily against pace because the pace bowlers are bowling the death end. But check this out. Against spin in the death overs, strike rate of 186. Strike rate against medium pacers, 211. So he has been in exceptional form. He's been striking the ball out of this world, as Cass would like to say. And he did it again tonight. He resurrected the innings. He did say in his post-batting innings interview that total is not substantial. It's a far better pitch than they made it out to be. Not a lot of people have been catching on to Shaq Paris. I'm a big believer in Shaq Paris, but he's got a lot to work on still. You can see it there. You see the potential. You see the talent. His ball striking ability is second to none. We've seen him play all the shots in the book. The only thing right now that is holding Shaq Barrett back, and the only thing that he's catching a little flack for, is his inability to rotate the strike and his tendency to soak up dot balls. I think over his 3 innings, he's faced 51% in dot balls, which is an outrageous amount in a T20 innings. Out of the 29 balls he faced in this game, 19 of them were dot balls. So there's just no room for that. But he is a young player. We're hoping that he's going to develop that side of his game. But we've seen him up against spin. We've seen him up against fast bowlers. And he's got the power. He's got the ability to hit over mid-wicket, down the ground, over extra cover. I've seen him pull in front of square leg. I've seen him pull in front of mid-wicket off Anrik Norkia. So I understand why they want to give him the opportunity to bat at number 3 and sometimes opening the batting. But having said that, you have arguably the best batsman in the world. And I'm going to try to cross sports here because I wasn't always the biggest Nicholas Pooran fan because I felt like at one point his talent wasn't exactly living up to word of mouth and his expectations. It's one thing to not have a good showing for a couple of games, but I remember he was going 2-3 seasons in the IPL underperforming significantly. Now, we can question whether his roles were appropriate at the time or if those teams had his best interest at heart or if they just try to fit him into a mold that a lot of West Indian players get fit into. The likes of Shimron Hetmeyer and they're not middle order batsmen, they're top order batsmen. These guys have been batting at number 3 majority of their careers. And then now they're pushed down into the late middle order, 5th, 6th, 7th. I've seen Ravi Chandran Ashwin coming in front of Shimron Hetmeyer. All right. I'm going to come off that topic because I tend to get overly emotional with that topic, particularly because I do feel like in the IPL they're most so held on in the background, and while the young Indian stars or potential Indian stars are given the forefront and the chance to shine, rightly so, they're trying to develop their younger players, but at the cost of some of the guys that are being drafted to play. So, like I said, I wanted to do a cross sport analogy here. For me, Nicholas Pooran right now is comparable to Steph Curry in one way. Steph Curry, when he's on your team, regardless if he's shooting well or not, he is guarded like he is Steph Curry, right? It makes it so much easier for the other players to get to the rim. There's the spacing on the floor is incredible because the attention that he garners never changes, regardless if he's having a good shooting night or not. They're going to guard him up in his grill, regardless of whatever he's shooting. He's still being guarded because he is Steph Curry, and he has built that reputation up from continuous hard work, from exceptional performances over his career, and he's earned it, rightly so. He's the best shooter we've ever seen. And right now, Nicholas Pooran is probably the best ball striker we have in the world. I don't think that's something sacrilegious or blasphemous to say right now. He is truly a one-of-a-kind talent. But he's not performing well right now. He hasn't been able to string back-to-back scores together. He started the tournament off with a bang of 97. However, he is still Nicholas Pooran, and he still garners that respect. What I'm getting to, Guyanese Athlete did not come back to the crease once Nicholas Pooran arrived. Now, we can discuss this topic all day in terms of matchups, left-hand spinners to left-hand batsmen. The reason that Guyanese Athlete did not come back to bowl a third over is because Nicholas Pooran was there. The question I have is, why wasn't Moeen Ali given a second chance? Why wasn't Moeen Ali given a third over to bowl against Nicholas Pooran? These are questions that we don't have answers to right now. It's small things like this that can cost you, and it ended up costing. It's small things like this that get overlooked, and you keep kicking the can down the road, and eventually you're gonna have to pay. And they paid in the form of Cpl Paul having to bowl 2 overs in the back end. Now, Cpl Paul is a great bowler in a certain role, and that role is probably a 6 bowling option. When you're banking on him to be your 5th bowling option, you're banking on him to finish games for you, you're probably in a bad spot. This year, Cpl Paul's economy has been 14.37, and he hasn't bowled that much. And he's been traveling at a high clip. But unfortunately, the way that they juggle their bowlers this game, they had to turn to him. He was the one given the chance to close this thing out in the end. I just don't quite understand the thought process going into the last over. We had just seen prior to that over Pretorius bowl. I don't think this is hyperbole to say. Pretorius probably bowled. What Pretorius did in the 19th over was an exhibition of dead bowling. It's not crazy to say that that was probably close to the perfect 19th over that you could have bowled. Of course, as a bowler, you have to understand what you want to do, how you want to execute at the top of the mark. Any experienced bowler, as long as you have clarity at the top of your mark, you have a high chance of executing. And if you're able to adjust at the last second, depending on the batsman's movement, then that is a bonus. But you need to have clear thought and focus on what you're trying to achieve each delivery. So if you're going to go into the death over, the 19th over, what's known as a penultimate over in this format, and your plan is to bowl wide Yorkers, and you execute 4 out of your 5 wide Yorkers, job done. I can accept that. However, if you're going to be bowling to Tim David, and your plan is to go straight Yorker, and if you miss your mark and you're in line, these are the numbers for Tim David against medium pace in the death overs to balls in line with the stump on a good length or a full length, which is just before the Yorker length, 253. And you would think that they would be aware of these stats, because the next stat is even more concerning in the sense of these are professionals. Tim David against wide Yorkers, 144 strike rate. Whether you miss your Yorker or not, the wide Yorker is the way to go against these guys that are trying to hit straight down the ground and leg side. He has the ability. No one's saying he doesn't have the ability to go over extra cover. We've seen it happen. And if he does connect, he's only going 144, which rates just less than a run and a half per ball. So a lot to discuss there for the Warriors. I think they deeply missed their captain, Imran. But having said that, there's a lot of positives to take away from this match for the Warriors. Bramari Shepherd wasn't able to bowl. He was exceptional with the bat, so he'll come in and give you a couple overs. That probably takes away from the other guys. There was a point when Keema Paul was an exceptional depth bowler. He's one of the only bowlers to have a 5-wicket haul for West Indies in the T20 format. So the potential is there. However, right now he's just a little bit low on confidence. And it's going to be tough for him to bounce back, and I wish him the best. Another bonus for them to take away from this match is the resurgence of, what's his name? Shamar Joseph. He finally put together a really good performance. I'm super happy and proud to see what he's been able to achieve over the last couple of months. He's a very humble guy, and he's a hard worker. He followed his dreams, and I think the sky is the limit for this guy. He's still very young. I think he just turned 25 years of age, and what he's achieved in such a short time frame is nothing to sniff at. Sometimes he can be a little bit expensive, but I think tonight we saw conditions that were a little bit suitable to what he offers. He was able to get the ball to nip back and forth. The ball that he got, Paul Ardwick, was an absolute freak of a delivery. Pitched on middle and off stump. Took back in about 15 degrees. His confidence is going to be up. We want to see how he's going to perform with his confidence high. They're going back to Guyana for the next game. The home crowd is going to be buzzing. That crowd in Guyana is bedlam. That's going to definitely light a fire under them. And we're going to see how they react. As far as Trinidad goes, this team isn't firing really, and they're still managing to win games. Yes, they got Andrew Russell back. We saw Dwayne play what looks to be his final game at the Oval, but we'll get into that in another video. I have an entire video I want to do with him and his retirement. I think he's earned the right to have an entire video dedicated to him, what he's been able to achieve in his career. And he performed decently tonight. I don't think it was the best of his performances considering everything. But overall, I think TKR have a lot to look forward to. I rate them out as the second best side right now in the CPL. I think the Royals are still right there. And a fully healthy Warriors, I think, is right there with TKR for second best right now in terms of performance. But the semifinals and the finals are in Guyana. So that is going to give a significant boost to the morale of the Warriors, and they're going to be getting their captain back, and they're also going to be getting the likes of Ramanula Gorbaz back. I have one more topic I want to touch on. Nathan Souther. Didn't know much to expect of Nathan Souther playing in his first CPL game, but I think this is one of the best debuts that we've seen in the last couple of years here in the CPL. We can get overly critical of the over that he bowled against Russell. I thought it was the right call. I understand leg spin against Andre Russell has favored the bowling side in recent years. And they were showing the pitch map earlier, and I looked at it here on ESPN. He was able to hit that 4.8 meter length consistently for about 78% of his deliveries. That's the hardest thing for you to hit off as a batsman. It's not too full where you can get under it and just elevate down the ground over extra cover or down to long on. And it's not too short for you to rock back and hit your shot over deep in the wicket or pull it over square leg. 4.8, and it's just hard for you to get under. But Andre Russell is a phenom. I think that's the only way we can describe him. And Nathan Souther was bowling at 89 kilometers per hour, so he's pushing it through at 4.8. And I think those three, maybe one of the sixes that he hit over mid-wicket off the pull shot, I think maybe you can, if you're really trying to get picky about it, maybe that was a short delivery which deserved to be punished. But you're really stretching it there. But the other two had no business whatsoever going for sixes. It just shows the talent of the man, the strength of the man, and the experience of Andre Russell to be able to pull something like that off at such a pivotal point in the game. I think those things tend to go overlooked sometimes. Yes, he was dropped by Junior Sinclair, but not too much on Junior Sinclair. He's probably the best fielder that's going around right now in the CPL. I truly believe that he's a generational talent when it comes to fielding. And there is a dark pocket in the Oval. I'm not giving him excuses, but that's the reality of it. There's a dark pocket there, and he might have fallen right into that. But other than that, great game overall. Both sides will meet again. These teams will see each other in the playoffs, in the finals, so a lot to look forward to there. Stay tuned. We do have a lot more stuff coming out. Of course, maybe you guys have seen by now, but we did have to pull that first video. It wasn't accessible for some viewers. We want to build a community out here. We want to represent all our athletes. So please feel free to share your thoughts. Feel free to jump in, add questions. We'll be more than willing to look through the comment section, add those questions to the shows, and we can have debates. We have a few things planned out, but at the same time, we'd appreciate your suggestions and what you have and what you would like to see. So this is Viking signing out, and